ようこそどうぞはじめまして
Hello everyone, and welcome to the GLORIO Chat, the best anime podcast on the internet. We are recording the day after Valentine's Day here, so I hope everyone enjoyed their time with their waifu or husbando. I know the best I could do is manage to take this dumb quiz, but from High Dive, which did not go well. But
yeah, High
I
Dive.
got Hestia.
Oh yeah, same. The High Dive catalog is not perhaps as fully fleshed out as it could be. I mean, for one, they did not even include any members from the legendary 1988 science fiction OVA, Legend of the Galactic Heroes.
Yeah, all two of them.
yeah,
Well, that's just for the waifu quiz. For the husbando quiz, you'd have
that's true.
a dozen choices.
Yeah,
it
seemed like their options were based on the most popular shows on High Dive, and Legend of the Galactic Heroes is like always the most popular show on High Dive, so
so getting snubbed.
Weird.
Apparently, High Dive, the powers that be at High Dive do not believe that Yang or Kirky Eyes or Reinhardt or Bittenfield are husbando material.
Yeah, well,
maybe they just don't have as much like marketable. I don't know. Do they sell shirts? Maybe they got like a shirt with every husbando's face on it or something.
I don't know.
Would you not buy a shirt with just Bittenfield's face plastered on the front?
Just Kirky Eyes
I feel like
saying,
I need some
Kirky
kind of
Eyes
quote.
asking if you're frustrated.
Oh, that I would buy that. Yes,
Yeah,
that would be
that's
great.
True.
I got Rory from Gate, which I thought at first, hell no, but then also the main character of that show is a middle-aged man who plays too much off-brand Grand Blue Fantasy, so maybe it's not too far off.
They know too much.
But
Have you gonna get that fighting game? Joe?
yeah, we'll talk about that. That comes out.
Oh, yeah?
Well, it's been out in Japan, but the English release is the beginning of next month, so
Yes, save that for the next
there'll be words for
podcast.
that.
Then.
Anyway, we got some actual anime to talk about today. So to introduce everybody, I'm Jel. We are joined by Iroh.
Still here. I'm not dead
Who
yet.
was your waifu, Iroh, in the quiz? I need you to say this on tape.
Fuck you. Drawing from my dark past, it gave me the Snake Girl from Monster Girls.
Huh.
And I was like, no, don't drag me back into this hole.
All right. Well, sometimes
My dark
quizzes...
past is back to...
I'll have to link
You know-
that random manga theater post where I censored it with the
Yeah.
GLORIO icons.
That was very good, yeah.
Look,
No.
man,
Yeah.
these internet quizzes sometimes reveal things about you that even you yourself never knew. I mean,
Well, gee, who
I-
did you get then?
for the quiz, I already said I got Hestia,
Yes.
the girl from the dungeon
Danmachi.
anime, which
Yeah, Dungeon.
Yeah.
Danmachi.
I don't even think she's the best girl in that anime of all the 3 episodes I watched of it. But I guess that's just.
I don't even remember there being another girl.
That's just what you get sometimes.
And-
I was gonna say this reminds me of when we all took that which Love Live quiz you are, and I got the Nico Ni girl.
Yes,
so.
which I think is strangely appropriate, but we can,
As someone who's never watched an episode of Love Live, so I've been told.
yeah, I got the mom girl on that, which also might be appropriate. So I don't know.
Do you love your mom idol and her 2-hit multi-target attacks, Joel?
I think all right. I think we're getting off the rails here, but Marlon, you also got Hestia, right?
Yeah. And yeah, like I was saying, I watched one episode of that show.
I'm guessing the pool is.
I think it's
pretty
because
limited on that, but
I kind of wanted to pick all of the Coco options, but I feel like that's not someone I would actually want to date in real life.
You don't want to move in on Tadabani's territory.
yeah,
Yeah, that's true. I gotta respect Tadabanri
Well,
and his
as
ghost.
long as you're friends with Tadabani, he will die for you.
yes, he's a good.
That's
He's a
true.
good. Makes terrible life decisions, but he's a bro. Anyway, putting anime from 2013 aside, let's talk about
Oh.
some current stuff going on. We wanted to catch up on a couple of things that we've been watching and haven't been talking about. and one of them we haven't talked about at all, but Iro, you've caught up on something called Drifting Dragons.
Yeah, I knew this was airing this season, but we all elected to ignore it because it's stuck in all CG Netflix hell, just like Beastars and Dorohedoro. And just like Beastars and Dorohedoro, the manga's real good. I was like curious about Drifting Dragons, and I was like, we all ignored this. Let me check out the manga. The manga's really good. And then cool. I looked up the anime, and the anime is not as good.
That's unfortunate.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah.
What's the pitch?
Sky whaling.
Okay.
But the whales are dragons.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So there's a lot of harpooning and jumping on dragons from airships and stabbing them.
I was going to say just stabbing the crap
and
out.
then, like, butchering these dragons and rendering out the blubber and cooking the meat.
Okay. Again, like this, like honestly, this all sounds like an anime adaptation that I would have like a 5-minute spiel about if I had read the manga, because it does sound pretty interesting, but because I did not find out about it until I'd seen, the PVs for the anime, and I was like, man, this is some not so great looking CG.
It's like not terrible, but it doesn't have the sort of like flair that Beastars had, for example.
Right.
And like Dorohedoro also can trade on a certain amount of just style.
Pure style. Right. And
whereas
that's sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, like the manga has a very like beautiful, wonderful art style where it's like all pen shading and lots of like windswept big splash pages and stuff.
I know the type.
That just do not translate to cel-shaded anime.
And I think that's the thing is It's like the way you're describing Drifting Dragons, it totally sounds like my feelings about the Beastars manga or Dorohedoro. And it's like it is that proof that time and time again that it's not that I think any of us are like preternaturally like biased against CG, but the Drifting Dragons anime is, I think, for better or worse, what we expect 90% of the time when we hear we hear the byline, highly acclaimed manga gets anime adaptation, animated by Polygon Pictures or Studio Orange, and it's like, oh no, well, there goes all of our excitement.
Right. Which is too bad. I mean, I still think if the premise is interesting to you, maybe check out the anime when it's out.
It sounds more like I should just check out the manga. But...
I mean, yes. I will say, like, directly comparing... So the way the manga works is you'll have, like, your longer arcs, and then in between you'll have, like, a chapter or two that's kind of the episodic, just character-building stuff. But I noticed that the anime took some of the, like, in-between arc padding and just shifted it all up front to have, like... So the anime kind of has, instead of, like, arc padding, it's just, like, here's all the padding in the front, and then here are a couple story arcs. The end. Also, like, I don't know why it's already 12 episodes out, even though we're halfway through the season.
Oh, they were doing like the actual Netflix just batch release for
But it wasn't bad. It was still like week by week, but I think they were putting out 2 a week.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
I don't know the actual schedule, but if you look on the usual channels, all 12 episodes are out.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, wait, they're not going to make any more?
It doesn't seem like it.
Huh.
Well, I think he's more speaking of the fact that the 12 episodes are already out.
Yeah.
It's just weird that they weren't
even though we're halfway through the season only.
Right.
We're talking about episode 6, 7 of the rest of these shows, but...
Right.
That's weird that they weren't just all dumped then.
It seems like kind of, like, it seems consigned to all CG Netflix hell.
Right,
even worse than the other ones.
Yes, but that is what's weird, is because you compare that to your Beastars or your Dorohedoro, and... or even go further back, your Little Witch Academias, right?
Right.
And the thing that always frustrated, American fans of the anime that get consigned to Netflix limbo is that they still air like normal anime week to week.
Yeah.
It's just that Netflix US holds on to them until the whole series is out.
Right.
So for Drifting Dragons to essentially have its entire anime already out in the open, it's like.
So I think I'm not 100% sure on this. I think their Japanese Netflix has all of them out, but on television it's still airing week to week. But yeah, I don't know.
Good old Netflix.
Thanks, Netflix.
I mean, the worst.
Thanks.
That just makes me think like the worst case was Violet Evergarden, right? Because they had the dub and everything ready to go.
Oh God, yeah,
and
in other territories. Yeah,
and they actually released it in other territories, but US just is that seems to be for whatever reason the way they want to do it. But
yeah, if you like airships and like sort of like Ghibli air flying vibes and wailing dragons and
I was gonna say
crews of salty air dogs, stabbing dragons with harpoons, and beautiful pen drawn splash images, I would say check out that manga.
I mean, is it more of like a slice of life type of vibe, or is it like are there actual serious story arcs?
There are actual like story arcs.
Okay,
I would say.
I mean, this sounds like it comes from like a very specific lineage of
like seinen manga.
Yeah, of seinen, like the seinen approach to slice of life. Your planets and such. That are usually about a group of eccentric working stiffs. Just trying to get by in a world, and their job of choice ends up being the
dangerous
appealing
old way.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, I guess check that out. It does sound pretty neat, but also kind of slightly
shame
disappointing
about that anime.
With the anime.
Yeah,
it is kind of a shame. I really did like the
manga. Maybe
a
if
lot.
it actually comes out on US Netflix and I can just click a button and watch it, I'll check it out. But we'll see.
Great.
Yeah, spend a half a year waiting for that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, when the fuck is Beastars?
Next month, like, Beastars finally comes out, right? I think.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Sure.
When's that? Yeah, throw that out.
Yeah, it's
it'd be
I'm
great
I'm
for us to
already
finally
dealing
watch it
with
after naming.
Yeah,
it
I heard
anime.
Beastars is good, so it'll be cool that we can watch it. But...
Yeah.
I'm
I
already
heard some
dealing
great
with
things.
their fucking Castlevania trailers, and we don't have the 10 minutes for me to rant about Castlevania.
Yeah, let's not.
We'll save that for another podcast.
Let's not get into that right now.
Yeah, we got some other shows here we got to catch up on.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So let's catch up on Inspector, which you guys, or at least I don't know if if you're the only one still watching it.
Nah, I'm watching it too.
Okay.
Yeah. I caught up with what I had missed this morning.
So, how's that show going?
It's
a
real
little
talky.
slow.
It's real talky.
Yeah, it's very talky.
It's like all the investigation phase of the Phoenix Wright game, with none of the payoff.
That's not encouraging.
Presenting your evidence.
It's a little Nisio Isin, not like as insufferable as he can be, but
it's totally in that vibe though.
Well, was this based on a novel? I forget, real novel, quote unquote.
This is the anime is based off the manga's interpretation, the manga adaptation of the novel, right?
Okay,
I believe so.
But it's a lot of talking and
I like the concepts. I like the world it's building.
I'm a little tired of. I feel like of course, now that I'm on the spot, I could not point out any specifics, but I'm a little tired of the plot device of people's belief makes things real, and with that new thing, the internet, beliefs can spread faster than ever. So we're in 2020.
You mean
that's
you're definitely right. That's been happening a lot.
Wait.
Oh, you mean Shin Megami Tensei Persona 2 Innocent Sin?
Right.
Solved too.
Marlon, back me up here. Isn't that basically what's happening in Toilet Bound Hanako-kun, where the things are...
Yeah, okay, I was going to say, I was like, I know I've watched an anime this season that had that exact same
that's
plot
the same.
thread,
That's
so,
all the wonders are only
the
real if
same
people
thing.
believe in them, right?
Right, and so it's just the dialogue's okay, but
Yeah.
it's, I don't know,
At least it's about adults.
I guess, yeah, but it's not super engaging to me.
It's not the best thing I'm watching this season. Like, I thought it had a good premise, I thought it had a good first episode, but this arc just seems like it's taking way longer than it needs to. Like, they've been going on about this one ghost, like Eero said.
I think this is meant to be, like, the main plot.
Really?
Yeah.
Of, like, the next 6 episodes?
I think so.
I don't know how that would be possible. I would have to drop it.
Is this just a situation where it's not material that adapts well to anime?
I think so.
Like, is the content like solid? Like, would it come off better as a book or a manga?
Probably.
I think it would be a good like Agatha Christie kind of detective story. You just like are like, oh, okay, that's a little bit of a disservice to Agatha Christie.
So it's not a whodunit either. It's totally different genre.
Oh, is it a why done it?
Almost like the theme of the show seems to be that like people. They need to like change because this ghost is appearing because of rumors and stuff, like, and the shorter arc with the giant snake also had this concept that like people to accept something new, it has to be like more interesting than what they were believing before. So like they're like, well, we need to come up with this ghost is here who's powered by this rumor about this idol. And so to overpower that imagination energy, we need to come up with an even more exciting theory that will make it so that this ghost is not here killing people. It's like...
Yeah, I could...
If that makes sense.
Yeah, I could see that being kind of like a neat concept on paper, but like also...
Right.
I don't know.
They're just sitting in their living room basically this entire episode talking.
Right.
Except for the moment where they go to the scene of the crime, or of this like woman's death, and then just... talk for the rest of that time. So
yeah, like I don't know how you present that in an exciting manner other than
right.
Other than Macio singing it,
Hear me out then. What if we replace the protagonist with a surly magical professor who solves mysteries through a combination of his dry wit and his access to an internet connection?
Sure.
How would Lord El Melloy II handle this mystery?
Like at least at the same time as he would be making all these observations, there would also be like, I don't know, like fairy dogs trying to kill him, or like giant gerbils.
There'd be like dumb fake shit happening
time.
in the background that keeps it entertaining.
Yeah. I do think part of the thing with Inspector is maybe my expectation is just colored by watching too much anime. But I kind of thought it would be a little bit more of an action-based series.
Right.
And then it's not. They're kind of just normal people. They don't have superpowers or anything, so it's like...
Well, I mean, the one guy he
cannot throw fireballs or anything.
Okay, yeah, he has no offensive superpowers. He only has... I don't know what you would call that. He has regen.
Magic immortality.
Super not
magic
dying
immortality.
Powers. Okay.
Also, we did find out that he can...
Control the future?
He can control the future.
That seems powerful.
So
but only when he dies.
This guy's... The main character, or the protagonist's, deal is when he was a child, his creepy family force-fed him yokai flesh.
So, we got episodes about that this week, for sure.
And so there's a yokai called the Kudan, which is like a bull with a man's head, and it can tell the future, but then it dies after it tells the future. And so they fed him that, and they also fed him mermaid flesh, because if you eat mermaid flesh, you become immortal. So you can tell the future and die by telling the future, but come back to life because you're immortal. And so he has both of these abilities.
I guess that logic follows.
Yeah, and for some reason, just like in Somali, as we'll talk about, like everyone else dies except for him after doing this.
Okay, yeah. So he's like a 1 in a million.
Right. Like the one person across 1,000 years who survived to this treatment.
I see. Of course.
Yeah.
Speaking of shows with extremely questionable trains of logic,
indeed, yeah.
Jell,
we can move on.
Yeah, all right.
Tell
so
us about,
I'll finally talk about a certain scientific railgun. I'm blaming Aqua. He wanted to talk about it, and then he couldn't make it on the podcast. So, but I watched it. I'm committed, so I'm going to talk about it. All
right, do tell.
Yeah, so
I watched a couple episodes of this.
So yeah, they haven't exactly broken the mold with this season. But I got to admit, I was starting to have fun by like episode 5 or 6. They've kind of set it up as like the mind control girl is probably going to be the villain, although I'm still not totally convinced she is, but we'll see. But in the first, so I think this is going to fall 24, so this is only like the first like part.
Oh my god!
Section.
How many episodes of fucking Index Railgun are there?
We're probably hitting 100 soon, but are
there more episodes of Rail Decks than Legend of the Galactic Heroes?
By the time this is done, it might be like tied or something.
I mean, combined with Index, I would assume.
But anyway,
right.
This first arc was basically building up to fight the first mid boss, who is like this total insufferable asshole who you want to die. He's like half a step off from being an incel. He uses he gives like speeches about how, oh, you're so weak because you rely on your friends, and I'm so much smarter than everybody.
Shadow the Hedgehog.
And
of course.
But he looks like a fat nerd, and he has like robot dogs that fight for him. He doesn't have any powers. And so they basically, through various circumstances, the whole point of him existing and everything in this is ramping up to piss off Makoto, because that's what you have to do to actually get her to do anything. And so to do that, they basically sacrifice the B team, or actually, I might even call them the C team of the Railgun cast.
Didn't they all get brainwashed?
No, there's some brainwashing going on, but the I'll call them the C team. The C team does not, and they're the ones that that's why they're the ones that have to handle this problem.
Save the day.
So it's like that one Full Metal Panic she was talking about, where like all the grunts have to come in. And
kind of. I mean, these are still like level 3, level 4 people, so they're still pretty good.
Boy.
But
like, I don't know. I don't fucking know. What is it? What even is?
Yeah, what does that mean?
What is it? What even is Railgun? She is the Railgun, right?
Well,
right,
yes,
right.
Yes, Makoto is the Railgun.
Somehow,
yes.
with the power over all electricity, you use it to shoot coins instead of just like blow people up.
Well, don't get me started on her powers, but
also, like, there's a person who can mind control anyone, and she's just free to walk around everywhere and mind control people.
That seems dangerous.
You know, maybe they've tried to stop her, but nobody realizes that they didn't. Cause
doesn't the main character have his like fucking anti-magic fist? Can't he?
No, he's the main character of Index G. He doesn't really show up in Railgun that much.
Right? Yeah, this shared universe that never seems to touch. For
some
reason.
They do. Like he was in the last season of Railgun for a bit.
The fuck he's doing then? I thought his job was like to punch bad wizards.
Okay, G, so if you really want to know...
Oh, no!
Oh, great, there is a reason.
This season is the Railgun take on the big sports festival arc, which happened in the Index series. So Toma is actually off punching wizards while this is happening, so yes, he is busy right now. But Mikoto is dealing with another problem that's going on at the same time, because always happens.
When does the Queen of England get in on this action?
Oh, that's much later. That's much later.
I was going to say, like, it always seems like Index stuff, like, the scale seems so much larger, even though Railgun enemies seem more dangerous, like Accelerator or Mind Control Girl.
Well, Accelerator is mostly a Index. He's more of an Index character.
He's Index?
Yeah. He does show up for one arc in Railgun. Because that arc that's the other big overlapping arc they did. But
So I know in this season they're doing the sports festival. What is like the plot? What is like the end game here?
I don't know, man.
Meet the bad guy.
Yeah, they haven't really explained what the bad guys are trying to do yet.
Aren't they trying to get magic black metal?
Yeah, but
if you put a lot of espers together,
oh god,
their energy
I really didn't want to get into that, Iroh.
Oh, but it might not be real. Maybe it's just a rumor. But rumors can gain power if you spread them over this new thing called the internet, where belief can travel very quickly.
All right. Well, let me just finish my thought on the mid boss guy on a purely emotional, cheap satisfaction level. They did a good job of like building him up to be this like total asshole, and then just absolutely destroying him by episode 6. You know, every time he's like, I figured you out, and you can do this, and they're like, no, I can actually make the water. He's fighting one of the waterbender girls, who literally is just has the water bending from Avatar, and
okay. She do Tai Chi,
and he tries to like lead her away from the water or something, but she was like secretly moving it along like the vents underneath the floor or something like that, and then like hits him with it from there, even though after he gives a big speech about how, you should always have your reserve, whatever, because he had his backup robots, and I don't know, man.
Sure.
It was fun to, like I said, on like a base mindless level of dude
on some,
getting what he deserved type of setup.
I get it.
So
on a visceral level, it's fun to watch like Shinji Mato eat
shit.
Dude is not a threat in the slightest, so it's just fun to watch a dude get punked like that.
So that was kind of the similar satisfaction on that, and now they've introduced the next mid boss, who we haven't seen what she does yet. She just walks around with like I can tell it was either a riding crop or a whip or something. So she's probably going to be some kind of something in that area. But
yeah, that sounds about right.
Aren't all of the female characters in the show like no older than 15?
No, there are some that are 16.
Really?
No, there are a couple of adults. Makoto's hot mom shows up.
Do you love Makoto's hot mom and her 2 hit target attacks?
Is that why you watch this show?
No, she's not. She's only in like for like 2 seconds in this. So she's actually more in the index one, but I don't know. I don't want to. Again,
this universe is strange.
Oh boy!
Yes,
they got science people in the magic thing. They got moms not with their daughter. What's going on here?
All right, guys, I'm going to make the hard call here. I think we have given Railgun its due. I think that the Railgun minute has just finished up.
Yeah, blame Aqua. I did my duty.
I think we will return to this fascinating universe and its eclectic cast of compelling characters some other time.
Stay tuned for a certain magical absolute demonic front Babylonia.
They have plenty of their own spin-offs. We don't need to even make names for them.
Is there a Raildex Gacha that you're playing?
No, I don't. There was supposed to be one coming out. I don't know if it actually ever came out. This is very much a series built for a gacha game, though, because there's hundreds of characters already. But all with arbitrary power levels. So actually, I'm surprised it hasn't happened yet.
Power levels.
But yes, you are correct. Let's move on. So we'll get back to our regularly scheduled shows here from here on out. I was actually going to cut Somali and the Forest Spirit because I felt like we were running out of things to say about it. But from what I understand, something actually happened this week.
Yeah. This anime took a turn.
Do we need to throw the spoiler flag up, or because I don't care, but
I feel like this podcast has an always-on spoiler flag.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, we don't have to get too into it, but we are definitely going to spoil some things. I think because we kind of have to give context for why this set of episodes is such a strong tonal shift from what we've been accustomed to for Somali. Basically, to give context, like these 2 episodes are about Gollum Dad and Somali, traveling across the big desert sea that always exists in JRPGs, and they meet another pair of traveling companions, a bird girl and her masked ward, and you gotta pick up immediately that Oh, I get it. They're meant to be like a dark mirror of the golem in Somali, and that the dude with the mask is human.
I do have to say that with the guy's mask, it just seems like the monsters must be very stupid. It's like all it takes to fool them is to put a mask on a guy or put like a little hood with horns on it to make people tell that they're not not humans.
I think monsters are polite. I think monsters maybe have their suspicions, but I think it's very rude. I think maybe in monster society, it's very rude to just be like, "Hey, are you human? That race that we unilaterally enslave and consume the flesh of?" Like, that's a very rude thing to ask somebody out of the blue. So you might have your suspicions, but you.
That's true.
You got to ask yourself if it's worth it.
Yeah,
right.
if it's worth the big social faux pas. And
also, do you really want to get like punched by a golem?
Yeah, with a big creepy laser eye.
I
keep saying laser eye, but there's no indication it's actually a laser.
It better shoot lasers, man.
Look, I've watched enough Made in Abyss to know that like you don't got a big creepy robot eye like that unless it's designed to secretly fuck shit up later. But
you said these two new characters are a dark mirror, so I'm assuming we take a turn here.
Yes. So it is revealed that that the bird girl's human companion is suffering from some real bad disease, some eating mermaid flesh syndrome, and is dying from a terminal disease, and was told that by feeding her companion the fresh blood of a normal human that he can be saved. And, well, we got this perfectly good fresh human in the form of Somali.
Mm-hmm.
And initially I kind of try to ratchet up the tension of like, oh, she's gonna like fucking, try to slit this girl's throat and, drain her of her blood. But that all gets solved in a pretty
She's like, I can't do it.
Oh no!
Right.
Too kind-hearted to murder a child.
Right. Like, oh wait, that gets solved pretty easily. They're like, actually, wait, it's bad to commit murder. We shouldn't do that. No,
which seems
the darkness
to run pretty
comes
contrary to what we learn about then in the next the episode after.
Yes. The real darkness comes from when the older human companion explains why he's got this horrible bird disease and why he's traveling with this bird girl. And it is revealed that he and his family and his village of humans were attacked by monsters and enslaved and devoured to the last man, and him and his wife and child managed to escape. But dying of thirst and starvation, in desperation, this dude brains a bird lady. Just straight up grabs a rock and just fucking
kills her,
beats a bird lady to death, bludgeons her to death, and then drags her corpse back to his family and commands them all to eat her flesh to survive. And then, to echo back to the whole eating bird yokai flesh thing, turns out that when humans eat bird people flesh, feathers explode out of their every orifice in the most gruesome, painful way imaginable.
And it's showing all this on screen.
Yes, it is showing on screen this man's wife and child, clawing, dying horribly, clawing at their throats as feathers sprout of every orifice, begging for the sweet release of death. And that just came out of basically nowhere.
2 episodes ago, we were watching Somali try to get a flower for her dad.
Yeah,
and then now dying flowers look up at birds.
Yeah,
I don't even get what that means, but like.
And then it turns out that the bird lady that this dude killed, had a little girl daughter who is now an orphan who doesn't know the truth, and out of guilt, he now takes care of her. And
So why didn't he die? But he's
because he did less, and I guess I think the implication is he gave the food to his family first before he partook.
Oh, okay.
And so they died.
But he still got sick though, right?
Yeah,
he still ate some.
Okay.
Yeah.
all right.
That or they're saying like maybe.
I mean, that's not really that
higher
important. But
it's not. I mean, the point is that they all ate it, and he was the only survivor.
Right.
And
does make it slightly more understandable why they eat humans, I guess, because you can't eat any other sentient species without exploding into feathers. Like, imagine if you ate humans and you just, like, skin just came out everywhere. That would just be the worst.
It's gonna be a, like, Promised Neverland thing, or... Oh, I guess that's a spoiler.
So the thing about this is that, like, the reason why we started comparing this to, like, a Made in Abyss-esque, like, twist and tone is that I think that largely this storyline is actually done fairly effectively. I think it works for what it needs to be, but the weird thing is just that it is such a sudden tonal shift out of nowhere. Like, we have heard the monster people occasionally mention, oh yeah, human flesh, I love eating human flesh. But the anime has been so light in tone up till now.
Right.
This really feels like it's come out of nowhere. And I was really curious, so I started reading, like, early parts of the manga, and the manga actually does front load some of this darkness a little bit earlier. Like,
right, I think we did talk about that.
Somali actually does, in the manga, actually does meet a human before this moment in the manga, and that human kind of explains how his entire village was, like, you know, wiped out by the monsters. And so, by and large, the events of the anime are still the same as the manga, but the manga made sure to, like, kind of foreshadow some of the tension in this setting a little bit earlier on, so that I assume events like this don't feel so out of left field.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we kind of said that last time with comparing to Made in Abyss, which the anime did a much better job of keeping that kind of tension and, like, sense of danger lurking in the background, so that when it did really creep up to the forefront, it didn't feel as jarring, and in some ways it almost made it more, like, effective, right?
Yeah. And I think that's just, like, it's the weird thing, because, like, the adaptation made the choice to make the anime lighter and fluffier.
Right.
Up till now, when suddenly they changed their minds. And I think that is kind of where it gets a little incongruous, is... I don't know, like, I'm still interested in where it's going. I'm still, like, you know... I'm arguably more interested now that they have finally, like, pulled back the curtain a little bit, but that makes me wonder, like, if they were always going to do this, why didn't they maybe foreshadow it a little bit more?
Right. It does open up a lot more possibility, though, as to directions they could go, right? Like, it's not just going to be, you know, Golem Dad and his daughter slice of life show anymore, right?
Right. Like, now they have definitely confirmed that, like, there is some danger to this setting. I doubt that, like, I doubt that, like, Golem Dad is going to be breaking Somali's arm to save her from a poisonous infection or anything, but, I doubt it's going to go that far, but they have at least now, like, introduced this idea that actually these two could get in danger. Like, it is definitely possible.
Right.
And, that alone already makes me more interested in the anime than I was before. And I just think it is weird and maybe a bit of a shame they didn't front load some of that more.
Right. Execution's so important, right?
Yeah. And, hey, the backgrounds are still pretty.
Yeah. Yeah, and just, I get the being able to adapt your material to the medium. It just sounds like maybe they didn't necessarily make the right call on some things, but I don't know. All right, well, we'll maybe now we actually will keep touching base with.
That's the thing. It's hard to tell. It's honestly hard to tell if, like, it's going to go right back to, like, business as usual, or, like, if they're going to embrace this darker direction. Like,
is next week going to be Daddy, I picked some flowers for you again after? Can they go back?
I feel like Somali still isn't quite... Like, she's still acting really happy-go-lucky, even after she almost gets killed. So, I feel like there would have to be a change in her before it really turns the corner on being dark.
Well, the kind of gruesome stuff this time was like a flashback, right? So it's not like she was witnessing that or anything or involved with it. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. We'll check back on that again. Let's move on to BOFURI. I don't want to get hurt, so I'll max out my defense. Show is still fun, and I like to talk about the dumb video game things they do. So
what dumb video game things did they do this time?
Yeah, so there was a couple of interesting little ways of handling things. In episode 4 and then mostly into 5, the girls are playing an event. So there's like big events that happen like every couple of weeks or whatever, right? So this event you have to like earn medals to get treasure or whatever, and you can either fight bosses in specific dungeons, or you can do PvP, which in this case is not even really structured PvP. You can just go around and gank anybody you want at any.
Oh, this is like some WoW classic shit. Like this is like some old school World of Warcraft.
Yeah,
shit.
So that kind of puts everybody.
Hey, you better not be in this part of town or else.
Right. So that kind of puts everybody a little on edge. But it's interesting because when other, you could go back to Sword Art Online or whatever. When other anime like this introduce PvP, it's like this big deal. Like, oh, you're actually like murdering people or something. But with this one, it's like not the case, of course, because it's just a game, and it's like the main girl's like, I just don't want to do PvP, whereas her friend, who's like esports pro gamer, 360 no scope, amazing player, is like
go straight to the bottom of Anarlana Ruins. Dark.
Well, she's like, well, at first she's like, okay, we'll avoid PvP if we can, but I want to max out my medal count here, so we'll try your way first. And so they do some dungeons, but it's not enough. She's like, all right, you know what? You just wait here. I'm gonna go murder some people. And it was just a weird tone because it was like, because it was like your brain is so conditioned to think that that's like wrong and bad, like, but because they're actually just embracing that this is a video game.
Right, and this is like an actual MMO, just a regular ass MMO.
Right,
no stakes.
There's no moral quandary over should you. Well, you are still being kind of a dick when you go to some low level. She goes to like some lower level area and just starts murdering everybody.
I mean,
that's in a video game. Look, if the video game is structured that way and you play it,
maybe it's a shitty ass game.
No, like the main.
You sign the unstated contract that hey. This is what this video game is like.
This is why there's a soul level range.
Yes, like the main girl. Right. So like the main girl is like, I don't want to do it, but it's not against the rules. So if you want to do it, go ahead. And so she just doesn't do it.
You play Dark Souls. You sign the contract that hey, you're gonna get invaded.
Yeah. Her attitude was it's like me not wanting to play Crucible in Destiny. It's like I was like, I just don't want to do it.
Well, that's reasonable because Crucible is terrible. Yes,
but
it does remind me of
had good PvP.
This does remind me of, obviously it's not a 1-to-1 comparison, but with Log Horizon returning later this year, it reminds me of how in that show they were like, just because things are not directly prohibited by the system doesn't mean they're okay. Like, we need to codify
right.
laws of society. Well, anyway.
Yes.
Continue.
Well, speaking of Log Horizon, in episode 6, the
man with a mission shows up.
Oh, I wish, but no, they so the ability to form guilds unlocks. So they start a guild, and it was a pretty neat way of. I thought that was kind of an interesting way of handling expanding the cast because they've met other people over the course of they've met like 5 or 6 other people over the course of the first 5 or 6 episodes, but they would always be like show up in a scene or whatever, and then they'd go on their way or whatever. And so rather than like joining the team through the process and just adding a member, they basically now when they start their guild, they're like, oh, let's ask what's her name, the samurai girl that we met last week or whatever, and they actually just go around and just like now they've gathered all the people that they've met in their guild, so now they're like permanently part of the cast. But
sure.
And they have interesting variety of characters. So like some of them are like tryhards, and then others are just like, there's this one girl who like literally doesn't care about getting any events or anything. She's just like hanging out with them.
Is there one who has all the premium currency because they're rich?
They haven't brought up any premium currency yet, because I think this is still, I guess, more traditional MMO stuff. But
is there any gold farming? Anyone running it off?
No. Well, you know what? When they're recruiting for the guild, they meet these two girls that have min-maxed their attack stat. And they're kind of terrible, but as they're walking around, or not attack, strength specifically. As they're walking around, they're like accidentally breaking furniture and stuff. But they actually go back and fight like one of the first bosses to like level them up because they're new.
Kill them like one hit.
Yeah, and the main girl's friend like just like demolishes the first boss now because they're stronger. So, but they do that to farm XP basically for the lower level people. So there is some farming.
It was tangential, but he was talking about them having such a high strength stat, they just like break furniture by walking into it. Just reminds me of like the new Yakuza games on the Yakuza 6 engine and forward, where Kiryu can just like walk through furniture. Like if you go to any of the fast food restaurants, because there's physics on the objects now, you can just like run through all the tables.
Push it all away. Yeah,
it's very funny.
No, one of the
I mean, not just push it out of the way; they actually break because he runs into them.
Yeah, one of the bits, they're like
beast mode.
They're like, thank you for letting us join the guild, and they like bow, and they accidentally bow too far and like smash their head on the table and break the table. But
that's all
Test your might.
Yeah. Anyway,
I don't want to watch this anime now.
Yeah, so it's just dumb fun video game stuff, and again, since there's no stakes in it.
Right.
It's interesting because there's no stakes, but it's not boring because there's still a lot of action and stuff, and it's just people having fun. So.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
Let's move along to
a show with stakes.
It Invaded. I'm assuming there's a lot more murder and whatnot in It Invaded than BOFURI.
So last time I had...
So you're talking about the bullet thing, right?
Yeah. So last time I was talking about how this show is ridiculous and I love it. Okay.
This show is ridiculous.
And I love it. So, you know how there's like people with holes in their heads? Did we talk about that?
Not on
right.
There's the one serial killer who was drilling holes into everyone's skulls.
Right. He was known as the perforator.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so it turns out that one of the guys that got a hole in his head survived, but it turns out he's also a serial killer. And so they track him down to his high school sweetheart, who is using him to kill people because he loves her, and that's how he shows love, because the hole in his head makes him kill because of love, and love because of wanting to kill. And so...
Right.
So the idea is that, like, his love and his killing intent, like, parts of his brain have been merged into one or something?
Yes.
I'm no neuroscientist, but...
I'm pretty sure that's not how that works, but sure. I'll bite.
But the thing is, then, there's the chibi girl detective and the old guy detective.
Right, who also got to also give context, the chibi girl detective also got a hole in her head.
Oh, right.
Because she also survived getting drilled by the serial killer.
Well, no, you see, she didn't just survive getting drilled by the serial killer, but she was captured by him, and he was going to drill a hole in her head, and she figured out that the only way to, like, let everyone know her location was to try and stab herself on the drill, because then her killing intent towards herself would create the cognition particles that they could use to create an idwell of her that the detective could dive into.
Because suicide technically counts as killing intent against yourself, which can be detected by the
Wakamusubi.
Yes.
Do they real quick? Do they actually use the term killing intent?
No,
not explicitly.
Not in the way you're thinking.
Not in the way I'm thinking. Yeah. Okay.
But they do speak of the desire to kill.
Okay.
Okay. Now all of this culminates in them, like they threaten the girl, and because he loves the girl, he's going to kill them because that's what he does. And so that he starts attacking him with a knife, and so the chibi girl draws her gun, but she can't hit him. He keeps missing, and then she finally lines up a shot and shoots, and the bullet goes through the hole in his head.
Damn.
It was the greatest thing ever. I love
so
this
ridiculous.
show.
Like, it just goes, like, apparently it's just the exact same angle, the exact same size, just goes clean through the hole in his head.
Absolutely ridiculous.
And the hole's not big. It's like the size of like
a bullet-sized hole, I'm assuming, right?
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
It's a bullet-sized hole. It's a drill bit-sized hole.
Right.
And it finally ends with her stabbing him to death. And
But this is important that she killed him because now that she has killed multiple people, or shown the desire to kill multiple people, including the killing intent of her own attempted suicide, this qualifies her to be a new diver into the Idwells, and so.
Oh, so now she can join the team.
Yes, because turns out that one of the requisites of entering the Idwell and becoming a brilliant detective, capital B, brilliant detective, is that you must be a serial killer. And not only must you be a serial killer, but you have to enjoy the killing.
Right.
And it's revealed that our little chibi detective might be a little fucked up.
Right. I mean, she does have a hole in her head, but
more than that, like I actually kind of like so the older detective recommends her to be assigned as a brilliant detective.
Wait, are they actually called brilliant detectives?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's the actual term.
When you dive into the Idwell, like there are base settings of the
there are specific
that's
rules.
The Funimation.
Oh my god!
Translated term.
It's like when you dive into the Idwell,
I believe is the Japanese.
I don't know. When you dive into the Idwell, you like take on the role of the brilliant detective.
Yes.
Okay.
It's like a specific it's an archetype. One might even say a capo type.
And you guys were making fun of Railgun earlier.
That and it's great because becoming the brilliant detective has specific rules. Like you always lose your memory when you become the brilliant detective. You don't have a memory of your past self. You don't have a memory of the place you are in. You only remember two things, like basically that you are the brilliant detective and that you are here to solve a mystery. And not only do you have to be a serial killer, but you have to enjoy the killing to become a brilliant detective. And so, there's like little girl detective. She's like, "Oh, gee, thanks, Pops, for recommending me to be a brilliant detective." And he's just straight up like, "I wasn't doing you a favor. I was protecting the rest of us." Like he basically is like, "Tell me the truth. How good did it feel
to stab that man
when you stabbed that man to death?" And it cuts to a scene of her having just like the tiniest little smile,
right?
After
you probably saw that coming, right? It's
and it's and that's
just the first
5.
episode.
Episode 6 is her actually entering the Idwell as a newly minted brilliant detective.
So what they do is, because they finally have a second candidate for brilliant detective, so what they do is they go and fetch the cognition particles of the so far protagonist who has been brilliant detective for the first half of the show. They go and finally get some expansion on his past, like who he killed, why he killed them, and so they go and get his Idwell.
Because they're still trying to find John Walker.
Right. John Walker, the man who creates serial killers.
The archetypal serial killer who created all the other serial killers.
Right. And very good whiskey, right?
Yeah.
And it's a thing is like, this all sounds absurd.
It is
but
absurd.
It is, but it's so great. And it works really well.
Let me explain. Okay. The thing that It Invaded does that works for me despite its absurdity is that it established these rules early on in its absurd premise.
Mm-hmm.
And because of those specific rules, it can play with them and it can remix those rules and create new interesting scenarios that, like, you, the viewer, would not initially think of, but the moment they start to foreshadow it, you begin to put together, oh, this is what they're going to do. So, like, when Chibi Detective becomes a second brilliant detective, the cogs in your brain start working to, oh, why would they need a second brilliant detective? oh, so they can enter the one idwell they can't enter, the idwell of the first brilliant detective. And then, in the idwell of the first brilliant detective, what do they find there but...
another idwell.
Another idwell machine inside his idwell.
Oh, we need to go
Inception.
deeper.
Yes, it is Inception. So she enters into the idwell machine inside his idwell. She is double diving, and it's really good. It's absurd, but it's like the thing is like it is the kind of ridiculous thing that's like I'm legitimately excited. I want to see what happens.
I think
next
the thing
week
I
because...
liked most was he's sitting in his cell while she's diving, and he realized he puts the piece together that they're using her to go into his own idwell, and he's basically like, I don't want them to go into my idwell. I'm just gonna start smashing my head against the wall,
right?
With the intent that my killing intent towards myself will affect the idwell live in real time, even though the cognition particles they got were from 3 years ago when I shot the man who killed my daughter.
Yeah, it's again, it's fun because it has these absurd rules, but once you buy into the premise of that rule set, the show can go some really entertaining places with it.
It's a weird, fun show.
And what do you think is going on with the director? Is it just like he's...
I think the so-called evidence that he is obviously John Walker is way too blatant.
Right.
Yeah, like the fucking old man character with the squinty eyes, way too obviously the villain. Right. So I assume there has to be...
the cliffhanger of episode 7 was the cops bust into the idwell facility and bring in the calm, cool-headed director guy, and we found all of this evidence in your home that you were John Walker all along!
And it's a comical litany of
right.
We found his body there, we found a chalkboard where you wrote down, I am John Walker on it.
In your handwriting, we found this perfectly dry cleaned and pressed John Walker outfit under your floor.
Right, it's comically obvious that these are trumped up charges, but...
Yeah.
But they got a job to do, so they got to keep going in the idwell.
Yes, it's...
It's whatever. That show's wild.
I'm having a lot of fun with it.
It's
all right.
Super weird.
Well,
yeah.
I'm glad you guys are still enjoying it, because it sounded like it was touch or go when we first started talking.
I don't know if I'd call it super good, but it's weird and different, and I'm enjoying it.
Yeah. Here's the thing, Jell. Frankly, I don't know the show got better. I think it's just that we, as viewers...
But it didn't get worse, right? It could have
decided to go, fuck it.
Yeah.
Do it like a samurai.
I think that's the show definitely didn't get worse. I think it's just that we, as viewers, accepted the premise and its rules, and now we're just letting it wash over us.
Right. You're embracing diving into the trash.
Yes.
Yeah.
The bullet going through the hole, I think, is what really...
Oh my god.
sold it.
At that point, you're either fuck this, or, alright, fine,
right.
let's go.
With that episode, and with that moment, you either put this anime down for good, or you're okay, let's see where this goes.
That made me think of, what was it, Garo, where he punched the bullet and you guys were...
Oh, but that was rad.
Also,
Garo was always that kind of show.
Also, yes, Garo was always that good, because Garo started with the dude transforming into his magical armor by doing sick donuts.
Right,
that is true.
What's
alright.
Park up to?
Fuck, we need Garo back. Where is Garo? Save us, Mappa.
It's never coming back after... Well, Mappa's giving us Dorohedoro this season, so we can't complain too much.
Mappa's putting in good work this season.
Yeah.
But...
Right.
All right. Let's move along to Keep Your Hands Off Eizouken.
Oh, boy.
Which,
all right, we just open G's, chains for this one, I guess.
Well, yes, aside from finding out that the OP was basically a flash animation of the Hotline Bling dance. Yeah, G, between the, I couldn't help but think of Granbelm, and now this, and making me think that there are still people out there carrying the torch for you, G.
Yes,
they may not be the majority, but they're still out there. The passion still burns for the mecha genre, for fighting robots, for putting chainsaws on robot arms, which basically is the setup for the big project that the Eizouken crew is working on here.
Right. After their big success at the budget meeting with their original short, they're being commissioned by the Robot Club to do an original anime for the festival or something.
Yeah.
So now they're getting paid. They have a budget. They're being commissioned for work, and time to hit the animation desks again.
Yeah, but as a wise man once said, "Mo money, mo problems." And with the budget, with the new authority and resources they have, come a lot of complications. They're now it's not just 3 people working in a shack. It's 3 people working in a shack in conjunction with another half a dozen, production committee members, essentially.
Now there are expectations.
Yeah, right. An outsourcing studio they're basically working with. They have a sound team now. It's this project has suddenly become much more complicated, and I think that these 2 episodes do a great job of kind of getting into the vicious, all-consuming treadmill that is the commercial creative industry. You work your hardest to create a great project so that you can make a bigger, better project, but the bigger, better project is more complicated, there are more moving parts, it's more ambitious, it's
harder in every way.
The stakes are higher. Yes, it becomes harder in every way, but the payoff, the sweet payoff, is potentially even greater. And I, sound like a broken record, I really like these episodes.
You would.
I mean, it's, yes, there is the robot stuff, but I really do like Asakusa continues to be, the most relatable character, at least for me anyways, because she is a neurotic obsessive. I am happy to announce that it has been a full 2 weeks since the last podcast. I finally finished drawing the back of that robot. It only took 2 weeks. I have 2 weeks left to finish the rest of that project. I am a little worried. I need a Kanamori in my life. Would have not let me spend 2 weeks drawing the front and the back of that robot.
Yes, but the way the show portrays the specific type of anxieties of a creator is very, very on point.
Yeah, particularly in episode 6, right, where
yes, or it's it's not realistic, I'm gonna go insane.
Right.
Killing myself to try and make this work.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't matter at all.
Right, but the thing is that, if that's the thing that matters to that creator, then of course that is the thing they're going to obsess over.
Right.
It may not matter to 99% of people. It might only matter to the robot police. But, Asakusa is honestly, she is one of the robot police because she is one of the people that cares that deeply.
Mm-hmm. But I've got to go with Kanamori in this one. That
sometimes you just got to get it done.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to get it done. There are, as always, there are compromises to be made. But I do like this. I do like these set of episodes. I maybe do want to roll back to episode 5 a bit because I think the thing episode 5 does well is kind of communicate that passion is the thing that drives the creative industry. Maybe to its own self-destruction, but that passion kind of comes in multiple flavors, right? Initially, the initial conflict is that the Robot Club, especially its president, he is kind of the nightmare client who he actually cares really deeply about the work, but he actually has no clue what he actually wants.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just, like, gesturing at these, like, big, I need this, and it needs to look like that, but it can't be this. And to other creators who are, like, equally passionate, they're like, I don't understand what you're talking about. Like, you know, like, they get into this idea that, like, mecha anime at its core is built on a foundation of contradictions. What is real robot? What is Gundam, right? Like, what is this idea of, like, realistic mecha? None of it is realistic. Some of it is more realistic than others, but, you know...
Right, they keep talking about how, like, why wouldn't someone just send a tank at whatever they're fighting?
Right, like, exactly. And... But then, you know, the kind of the end of the episode is that they fight, like, Kanamori is initially convinced, oh, I got this easy, I'm just gonna go hardball on this motherfucker. And then turns out the actual solution is that the Mecha Club president finds, like, camaraderie because Asakusa and Mizuzuki are also passionate people. And they are moved by his own weird contradictory passions because Asakusa's like, I'm never gonna go to space. And Mizuzuki's like, I'm never gonna do a Hadouken. It's really good because it's like, it's really good. Yeah, like, the actual line is like, every night I go to bed, I try to do a Hadouken. And it's like, it really gets to this idea that, like, despite the, like, differences that these people might have, like, passion is what drives them in the end. And if anything will save this nightmare of a project, it is the passion of its individual players. And in episode 6, right, that's kind of what they get into, right? Like, you know,
the sound team. They find the sound library. Right?
Yes.
And the audiophile, who's the only member of the audio club.
Oh, so I looked up, so according to the manga, the sound team member is actually a girl.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
I was that in question?
Well,
it's
people were like...
androgynous.
She is a little ambiguous and, you know, not wearing any kind of uniform. Yeah.
But yes, these whole sequence where they're like, you need to help us, look at what we have for footsteps.
Oh yeah, that was great.
And they just run on the, like, imaginary conveyor belt.
It's such a great sequence.
That was hilarious.
That was very good.
Another episode, though, where you can see, like, they spent a lot of time on that, and so then to compensate, they did another scene where they basically just took the storyboards as the animation.
Yes, and again, I really like it's. They do a really good job of, like, showing, like obviously these are storyboards that are probably very real storyboards that will eventually get finished, you know, when they finally show this whole thing. But, like,
that's,
you know,
called cost cutting.
It's a good storytelling device. It also does a good job of, like, illuminating, like, you know, kind of the differences between Asakusa and Mizuzuki as artists, right? Like,
right.
Like, Asakusa's, like, storyboard is, like, all in on, like, the visual effects and, like, like, look at this cool mechanical thing moving and the hangar bay doors are separating. It's like episode 1 of Evangelion, all this cool mechanical shit's going on. And then once it gets to the fight, it's like, and then a dynamic fight happens, and it's just, like, scribbles.
Cool, I
like,
promise.
It'll look cool when it gets done, I promise. And, you know, Kanamori's like, the fuck is this? Like, you can't just say, like, this, you know, Oscar's like, it exists in my head. It's like, well, that's fucking worthless. Like, we can't sell the thing that's in your head. But then, right, like, Mizuzuki's like, well, I've been doing some, like, I'm gonna do some mecha animation in my spare time. And, like, you know, it's like very much that, like, you know, Mizuzuki is definitely in that, like, Yoshinari Imaishi school of character animation of, like, this is what it's all about. Like, cool-looking characters, like, fluid animation, sick poses.
Okay.
And,
also, I figured it out. A robot's just not tenable. How will we give him this weird electric buggy and also a gun?
Right, yes. Asakusa's realistic solution to the mecha is to get rid of the robot and replace it with a fucking hovercraft with a shotgun on the side.
Right.
Really funny.
I really liked how it started playing the, like, triumphant Imagine Spot music and immediately cuts off when Kanamori says that no.
That's stupid. It looks lame.
That whole stretch with, like, her sort of crisis of confidence there was pretty great. With both for the sort of thematically, but also just there were some great quotes in there. Like like robots being a giant collection of lies, or
the robot police.
Yeah, yes, working on robot anime means committing all kinds of crimes. Those kinds of.
I highly sympathize with the thing of you cannot like the big picture stuff is being difficult, so. Time to hyper-focus on something that doesn't matter, so I can...
Why do you think I spent 2 weeks trying the back of a robot?
So that, like, I can pretend I'm, like, still working on the thing, even though...
I'm working! What are you talking about?
You know, it's like... I'm not a concept artist, but I run in science fiction fantasy writing circles, and so I see a lot of...
Let's obsess over
I see a lot of tweets
thing.
about, like, oh, but... Can they use an iron pot in camp? That means I need to figure out where the iron comes from. I need to figure out the iron trade. I need to figure out if they can forge iron. And I'm like, I understand. Also, what's your plot? Like, what are you doing? This is not important at all. But also, you need to figure out the economics of the fantasy world. I need to figure out how these people can carry around an iron pot with them.
Hero, if I don't design the front, I can't design the back. I have to. You need
to figure out the magic system. You need to figure out what happened over the past 10,000 years. To figure out what happens over this 2-month period.
The last 2 weeks were not a waste of time. I was not procrastinating. I swear, I was being very productive.
Crack the whip. We all need a Kanamori in our life. Is what I'm saying.
Yes, but.
You'd have,
I think I actually do love, like, to really,
day.
like...
Just be like, you doing that thing, Gene?
So the core of this, however, is, like... The thing I really love about this is... So, there's a really good quote. The best quote of all for the Asakusas of the world is... When Kanamori's like... Don't worry, your art's amazing anyways. Already. And Asakusa's like... That's just what people who don't know how to draw say. And it's, like... It's very real. Like, It really speaks to, like, what is maybe the core of, like, the issue with most artists and their confidence in their work is, like, look, I admit on some level, okay, I'm probably kind of good at drawing, but, like, when people are like, you're already so good, it's like, motherfucker, no, I ain't. Like, I can see all the problems.
Right.
And more than that, it's like, I think from, like, an outside perspective, it's very easy to be like, why are these artists, like, so fucking wound up? Like, they already had a huge success in their, like, their committee, like, you know, the student council committee video, right? Like, that thing was amazing. Like, everybody loved it. Like, you've already done great work. Like, why are you so, like, why are you not confident? And it's like, it's a thing of, like, it's because
they're only seeing the finished product and they're not seeing the process.
They don't see the struggle, and not even that, but it's also... The next project, there is no guarantee it will go the same as the last project, right? Like, just because you've done art well once, just because you've written a book well once, like, honestly,
it's like gambling.
There's very little guarantee that, like, the next one will also be good. Like, it's just, like, because it is such a nebulous craft.
The best course of action is to get a rabid fan base who have no taste.
And will eat up whatever you do.
They'll buy things, or be part of the Mormon church, and all of the Mormons will buy your shit.
But yeah, we sound like broken records, but you know, it's a really good show.
It is very good.
Wonderful.
And I think that, like, even for, like, those of you, like, who are watching this who are, you know, not explicitly, you know, writers or artists or what have you, I think that Eizouken does a really good job of communicating the passions and the motivations, but also, like, the fears and anxieties that come with
creativity.
With this, with creativity. Yeah,
it's clearly been made by people who are in those situations, and they know the feeling, right?
And it's being
but I think
it's
I get. Sorry, go ahead, Marlon.
I was just saying, and they're executing on it very well. Like, it's not just rote, and like you can really feel their passion.
Definitely, because, like, I think the thing is, like, I think it would be like, I think it's actually pretty easy to fuck this up. Like,
oh, definitely, yep.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it would be very easy, like, because I think for better or worse, like, the tortured artist is a very common trope in media, right? And, like, usually it's either played for a joke or it's not actually explored that deeply. It's just like, oh, fucking crazy artists just can't get their shit together.
Right.
Whereas I think Eizouken actually does a very good job of, like, breaking down, like, to even the layman, like, look, this is what it goes into creating something, and that's why we're all messes. Like,
it's very specific, like, anxieties and concerns, as opposed to just general, oh, this guy's a hot mess, you know, type of thing that you might get in other.
They are a hot mess for this highly specific reason.
Right.
Yeah, like, it's not that hot messes become artists. It's that doing art turns you into a hot mess.
Right.
Speaking of hot messes,
it's a very good, very good show, though.
Yeah.
So
speaking of hot messes,
yes.
Dorohedoro.
So, you know, my head tells me that Eizouken is the best show of the season, but in my heart, I really love
your heart.
Dorohedoro.
I would feel like a more disgusting organ than that. Like the colon, spleen, something like that.
All right. So what even happened this week? We had.
I don't fucking know.
Well, that's why at the end of every episode they break down what we learned this week in Dorohedoro.
That is true.
I wanted to mention, because I kind of mentioned it last time, but I didn't want to talk about episode 4 yet. I thought the cooking magic thing was kind of neat, like the whole concept of like I can create clones, but to do it I have to like bake a turkey or something.
Basically,
that was a good.
He basically cooks a homunculus,
right?
Like, essentially. But yeah, I guess to try and give a plot summary, episode 4, they found that head. Mm-hmm. Or no, they didn't find the head. Sorry. They
no, in episode 4 they found the head, and then episode 5.
Yes, they were trying to hunt down. They were trying to hunt down the Cross Eyes, right? Ed and his gang,
right?
And so they go to Turkey, a wizard who specializes in creating homunculi that are always drawn to their original. The original being they are based off of.
Right.
And so they create a homunculi of the mysterious spiky-haired cross-eyed guy. And to find out what the fuck this dude's been up to and who he knows. And, you know, they go around the town, they go to a restaurant, they go to a clothing shop. It's all very Dorohedoro, like, weird slice of life stuff.
Right, yeah.
Until they get to the dilapidated apartment, you know, and find the severed head of the original body. Yeah. And then the homunculi goes berserk and
tries
fucks
to murder
up
everyone.
Fujita and Abisu real bad.
Mm-hmm.
It's, I like how, as crazy as things are, everything really does, for the time being anyway, link back to the core plot of figuring out what happened to Kaimon, or who he is, or what he is, or whatever. Because even all this is ultimately funneling itself back to that question, right?
Right.
So
I did like they go through all this effort to get the head and like bring it back to life, and finally it will give us the answers. And actually, Risu has zero answers about anything. And actually just kind of
about
a dumbass.
anything, literally anything.
Risu is completely worthless.
Every question they ask, he's like, I don't fucking know. I'm just gonna sit on this couch.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that is, man. Sorry.
Right, like because like with these two. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, and also, I guess in episode 5 they definitely start bringing, well, at least one new character, because, you know, in the opening we've been seeing this weird, like, dog monkey thing, and, like, so they find, you know, because N is trying to bring the head back to life, and so he's got to find a life-bringing back wizard, and I guess that was interesting, like, the idea that there's white smoke instead of just black smoke. Are they ever going to go into why there's different kinds of smoke, or is it just because it's so weird?
A little bit, but it's mostly just aesthetic. Like, I mean, yes, there are real universe reasons for why. For example, Anne and Noi can breathe smoke through their mouth, while most sorcerers have to use their fingers. But it's mostly just an aesthetic thing.
I was kind of curious. Does that mean there's a limit to Noi's power? Like, can she not bring back somebody who's flat out dead?
I choose to imagine is that the difference between Noi and
whatever
the weird monkey dog thing.
The little dog thing is that she can heal anyone back to full HP as long as they're not dead.
Right.
And the little dog is the Phoenix Down.
Right.
That will bring something back to life, but will not restore them.
Right. How did she get shot in the head then?
So Noi is the elixir, and
yes.
And right, the dog is the Phoenix Down.
Yes, that's a good way to
right.
compare them.
Okay, that does make me a little confused though. Then, because like, how is it then in episode 6? Noi lets herself get shot in the head, and then she just comes back.
Well, clearly she didn't die.
Maybe she didn't die instantly.
Look, Noi's a tough girl. She can...
Okay.
she can...
Just flex her muscles, it'll block a bullet.
Yeah, I don't want to think. I don't want to think too hard about it. I would just.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, don't try to like to analyze.
Okay, I won't. Yeah, this is not the show for that. Clearly.
Yeah, it will collapse under that scrutiny.
I have to say, episode 6 got really tough to watch again. Well, episode 5 was really tough because there were dead bodies everywhere
not
too.
Into, like,
right,
not
so
into
we're still not having a fun time in this
chopping
show.
someone in half.
Oh yes.
Well, we basically so in the second episode, it's we're back to Kaiman and Nikaido, and they get a door to the wizard world or the sorcerer world.
Right. They meet a professor who
right
at his manor. Right. This was the end of. I'm sorry we keep jumping around. Dorohedoro is a very like.
Right.
It's a show that jumps around, but yes, the last third of episode 4, they go to this like seemingly abandoned manor to, I don't know, what are they doing there to fuck up some ghosts or so? I don't know, fuck whatever the fuck those two do.
Right.
But they meet the professor of the manor, and he is like everybody in Hull, he is a very cheery, friendly individual, but he has constructed an artificial wizard door out of the flesh and skin of all of the wizards that Kaiman has killed, apparently.
It looks like the Necronomicon, basically.
Yes, and that door allows Kaiman and Nikaido to enter the world of the sorcerers.
Even though Nikaido can just make a door herself, I guess.
Yeah, but she doesn't want
trying
the
to hide
world
it from
to know
Kaiman and etc.
that she's a sorcerer.
Right. Yeah, which we learned,
yes.
I think, last time. But
right.
Yeah.
But Kaiman
we have not
never
learned
took
anything
it
about the
seriously.
extent of her powers or why she's refusing
Apparently,
to use
it's
magic or
super
anything, but-
rare and like dangerous, though, considering the pawn shop.
Yes. I think episode 5 is kind of a good. Episode 5 is a good episode to kind of like start to like kind of introduce some more world building, but also start to kind of dig into Nikaido specifically and her backstory, because she knows some interesting fellows in
Yes.
Sorcerer's world.
I did like how she just goes and meets a devil or demon or something.
Yeah.
They just have a relatively normal conversation. But
Yes.
Yeah, so clearly there's something up with her, right? Like that we're slowly unraveling. But
and also, man, it reminds you about how, like, we're set up with Nikaido and Kaiman as the heroes, so we kind of just roll with what they're doing. But they really do act like people playing GTA, yeah, like just going around murdering people left and right.
Let's not mince things here. They murder that taxi driver in cold blood.
I don't
know if he's a wizard.
But he was a wizard, so he probably deserved it.
Right. Nobody had a legitimate business. I don't know.
Nobody is a good person in this show.
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing you have to begin to understand about Dorohedoro is, like, it's not about who's the good guy or the bad guy. It's just about how likable these characters are. Like, I'm glad they didn't cut one of my favorite little moments in episode 5, where Fujita and Abisu are getting bullied by some of Fujita's old wizard friends or something. And it starts off with one of them just, like, playfully chopping on Abisu's head, like, bullying her. And fucking Noi shows up, bare hands, chop this motherfucker in half.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is what a real fucking karate chop looks like, you fucking chumps. And then she calls over to Shin, hey, let's do our special move, bully sandwich, where take the 2 bisected halves of one of the and just wrap them around the corpse of the other. And,
yeah.
You know, it's like, sure, Shin and Noi are some fucked up Hotline Miami motherfuckers who, you know, kill on whim, you know, on En's whim, as we see with what they do to the Cross Eyes
most
in this episode.
Most of the show, they're like cinnamon rolls.
yeah, they're really sweet. You know, they care for Fujita. They look out for Fujita. They look out for Ibisu. They're. Look, I will just say so. To celebrate the release of the anime, Q Hayashida, the author of the manga, actually released a new chapter of Dorohedoro recently, just to celebrate it. And it's very, like, I think it's very telling that the chapter is entirely about En's crew, mainly focusing on Shin and Noi, because they are the sweetest couple in this story.
Yeah.
You know, when they're not...
when they're not murdering
brutally
people,
gruesomely murdering
people,
or ripping people's hearts out with their bare hands.
Right. Well, episode 5 ended with Nikaido and Noi about to fight, right? Which was
yes. Nikaido storms En's manor.
Kind of a disappointing cliffhanger there. I wanted to
get some,
but that episode will be out soon, so
yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad they're actually doing something with Nikaido, and she's not just like kind of in sidekick.
No, she is definitely her own character.
You know, I expressed some of my appreciation for Noi last episode, but I would say I'm also a fan of Nikaido. She seems like a good character. So
she's
to speak.
a fun character. Yeah,
all right. Well, I think that's pretty much it then. I think we were saying earlier the next Dorohedoro Raws are already out, so hopefully we'll get to watch that soon. But
I just don't know where that show's going, like, plot-wise, I guess.
Yes, I do understand, like, your consternation about the show, Hero. It's a lot. It is definitely a lot. Fuck, we didn't even talk about, that new ED.
Oh yes! Oh god, yes!
Oh right,
shit,
the Doom ED.
The EDs for this show are
yes. This is like the third one they've done so far, right?
Yes.
And they just keep getting better each time.
Yes. God, the fucking new ED for this, which is basically just a Doom wad.
Right, it's in Doom basically.
Yes, fucking shooting mushrooms at motherfuckers.
With the song is great too. Like it's
it's real. It's a real banger.
Good year for anime songs or ED songs.
I have not been excited about rotating ED since Ninja Slayer.
It's so weird to think of, like, oh right, these are the people that did the soundtracks for Grimgar and Shirobako.
Yeah. No, it was Soccer Quest, not Shirobako.
Oh, you're right. Soccer Quest, my bad.
Soccer
Soccer Quest, not
same
Shirobako.
show.
Same show, basically. But those people got some chops to them.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just had to give that thing a shout out.
Thank you, G, for remembering that. So, all right.
Yeah.
So, I think that covers everything. I cut Toilet Bound Hanako-kun from the list. I'm still watching it, but I didn't really have anything I wanted to say about it. One of the episodes was kind of good, but that was about it.
Uh-huh.
Other than that, I think...
Do we want to give a brief shout out to, since we got a little bit of time here, to Paranoia Agent? Just a quick news segment out of nowhere.
This being re-released on streaming platforms?
I believe it's actually already out on Funimation.
Oh, yeah?
At least the website, one of the news sites I saw said it was going to be out on the 5th. If I remember right.
Okay. Well,
I'll have to double check that.
It's already been out for a while. Though.
Yeah, but I've been waiting for this for years. I remember, like, the first anime con I went to a long time ago. I was looking around, like, some bootleg DVD, like, seller, and I found a DVD of Paranoia Agent, and it made me think, wait, can I just buy Paranoia Agent regularly? And it made me find, like, I had to go look through the internet and find out that literally, for some reason, the way they made the dub, they never released a American DVD, because I guess for backstory for those who don't know, Paranoia Agent was like 2005. Does that sound right? Yeah, 2005 anime by Satoshi Kon.
Something like that.
And it was probably my favorite Adult Swim anime. It's a really good, suspenseful thriller.
So it never,
it
never got a official release in America outside of on Adult Swim.
Right? Yeah, never.
That's
anything
bizarre.
I know. That's why I was like, for the longest time, I was like, you can't even find the ED on YouTube for some, you may be able to find it, but like that's all you're going to get. You can't find any rips of it, because it was just on Adult Swim. You couldn't even find torrents if you wanted to. Of the English dub.
Yeah, and so it's kind of cool that they are finally kind of bringing this out. Kind of to echo what Marlon said for context. Paranoia Agent was the late great Satoshi Kon's the only TV anime he ever directed. He mostly did films such as Paprika and Perfect Blue and Tokyo Godfathers, but Paranoia Agent, I'm not as adoring of it. I do like it. I think, but it was very emblematic of that era of anime and of Adult Swim's choice of really inspired choice on Adult Swim's part to get Paranoia Agent. It's it is the kind of anime that we talk about when you say, remember tuning into anime at 1 a.m.
Right. Yeah.
And you didn't really understand what anime was, but you just watched this strange but strangely compelling, thrilling work that is just unlike anything else you've ever seen. And it's cool that it's finally going to be more accessible now.
I think it still has a message that can speak to the modern day. It really, it is more focused on kind of the technological world of the mid-2000s, but it's still...
Wait. Is Paranoia Agent about how rumors can give belief power, and with this new thing called the internet...
Now that you're saying that,
legends can gain belief faster than ever.
I mean, you might be right.
I mean, that show is kind of about the propagation of information in the 21st century,
and also how people live double lives because of the internet, or just the stresses of modern life. Basically making us have two faces or making us be other than ourselves, and the pressures that we put on us because of these lies just building and building. And Eero's making me admit, manifesting into this real presence of that, basically it manifests as a cop-out. The golden slugger, the one that is hurting people, is basically it's a way for people to escape from their problems, and it's just how the show uses that in each episode. I think is really interesting. It does get into some really dark stuff, which
I mean, it's a Satoshi Kon work, so that is to be expected.
But I think
Iro broke anime well for us. Now we're always going to see that,
right?
We're always going to see that trope
just
now.
I feel like I've seen it several times in the past month.
All anime is about the collective unconscious.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's cool that they're bringing that back. Hopefully there'll be other old things they can keep resurrecting. If there's any good that may come off of Funimation, that would be it.
Now that Nichijou and Paranoia Agent are back, what else is left? I think
Baccano.
Yeah, I was going to say bring Baccano back.
They brought back Dororo. Where the fuck is Baccano?
Oh, is Baccano actually still?
It's still in limbo.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah, I remember.
All right.
I remember. Iro and I struck a deal to make me watch that, and
a week before they took it off.
Yeah, and I couldn't finish it before.
Whoops.
They took it down, and I never finished the series.
You should just email Funimation, because I remember I have sent multiple emails to Funimation to get Paranoia Agent back, and I'm not gonna say that
really?
that's
yes, Marlon. I'm sure that's the reason.
Well, you heard it here, folks. Man, the GLORIO blog is the reason Paranoia Agent is back.
Exactly.
You have us to thank.
I'm going to call that.
You can send a donation to the GLORIO blog at paypal.net. Don't do that.
Also, we don't have a PayPal.
I'll give you my personal PayPal, and I promise I'll share it with you guys.
I trust you.
Okay, I think with that, we could call it.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, let's end it there and do our housekeeping. Check us out at theglorioblog.com. Follow us on Twitter at theglorioblog. You can find us wherever podcasts are found: iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Podbean. We're also on YouTube. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe there, so we can get to that 100 subscribers. And that's gonna be it. So, thank you guys for being on. Thanks everyone for listening.
Thank you.
And we'll catch you next time.
Later.